Chinese media is also boosting coverage of the big parade next week, right, where the military is set to showcase its anti-ship missiles, combat drones, and nuclear-capable ballistic missiles. So we're talking about September 3rd. That is the day. But we're looking at what we've been seeing here, satellite imagery that was taken, I think, earlier this month. And this one is of a staging area just outside of Beijing. And really among the weapons that are visible appear to be attack and reconnaissance drones. That's according to analysts at the Open Nuclear Network in Vienna, which specializes in these kind of open source intelligence here. So really kind of showing the military capabilities leading up to it. But yes, a lot of anticipation of what we could see next week.
Yeah, in fact, let's cross it over now to Beijing, and our China correspondent Minmin is in fact there at the capital for us to talk about the significance of these weapons. Minmin, why don't we start there, and then we'll talk about what the mood on the ground is there in Beijing. But yeah, all yours.
Yes, Yvonne just showed those satellite images. Those will really be scrutinized by defense analysts for a sign of what are some of the latest cutting-edge technology that China has. It is not clear if that staging area and all the weapons you see there will be the same ones that will be rolling through the streets of Beijing during the parade, but it's highly probable. And it's actually quite hard to identify some of them because some of them are covered by, shrouded by coverings, but we've been speaking to defense analysts, and they believe that among them are intercontinental ballistic missiles, 15,000 kilometers in range, capable of hitting the U.S., and of course anti-ship missiles as well, hypersonic systems that would be at the center of any U.S.-China warfare because they're clearly targeted at suppressing U.S. naval warships in the Western Pacific. Of course, armored vehicles, drones that are meant to defend against these tanks that are meant to defend against drones as well. And there are also these so-called wingman drones that are meant to accompany crewed fighters to multiply their sensory and fighting capabilities. That is a system that the U.S. is also investing heavily on as well. So the parade is not just a time for them to re-inject these feelings of patriotism among the Chinese citizens, also a message of deterrence here, but also a marketing opportunity for this Chinese military defense complex because it's coming days after the SCO summit, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit in Tianjin, where Modi and Putin are attending, but Pakistan also will be there, and we know Pakistan is a big buyer of China's defense systems.
Yeah, it's a big event in the political calendar. Can you tell us, how are things on the ground? I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of activity in Tiananmen Square, but what are you seeing and hearing so far?
Yeah, the city is very on edge right now as we look towards that parade because security is highly tightened. There had been rehearsals every Saturday over the past few weeks, which led to a lot of road closures. I can't even begin to count how many of those no entry signs are popping up on the road navigation app. And it's creating massive traffic jams, especially on Chang'an Avenue, the main road that passes through Tiananmen Square, where Mao's portrait is. A lot of these malls and office buildings that you used to be able to walk in and out of easily in the past. Now there are additional back and security checks, and hotels on that road told me that they are closing for a few days during the parade period as well. So the whole city is on alert to ensure that everything goes according to plan. Nothing embarrassing happens that could distract from the parade on September 3rd.
Okay, Minmin, how is this being covered domestically? What are you seeing across Chinese media on this?
Yeah, there has been really a ramp up of this political rhetoric ahead of this. There is even a movie that was created just ahead of the parade. It's called Dead to Rights, featuring the Nanjing massacre with very, very graphic images, very pointed dialogue that says things like, the Japanese are beasts, that they don't treat Chinese people with proper human rights. And you can imagine this is a sort of film that would really rile up tension with Japan. And so Japanese media has been talking about it, and Chinese state-linked media, Global Times, have been attacking Japanese media for being up in arms about this movie, for saying that this Nanjing massacre is a historical hoax that is devised by China. And you can see on this quote that we will show you, it says that this is an astonishing, outrageous claim by Japan aiming to distort this history of blood and sorrow. And it says that China has a responsibility to remind its citizens and the world that this atrocity happened, that it should never happen again. And People's Daily as well, a full page from yesterday's newspaper showing, all these images commemorating the key moments and the heroes of the victory of that war against Japan during World War II.